Hello everyone, welcome to the next edition of Wrench, Ride, and Repeat. Today we're going to try and work on the shovel here. I got the starter back and I was just blown away. So we're going to put the starter back in, we're going to put the battery tray back on, hopefully get the battery in, and test and see how that starter works in the bike now that it's been redone. Stick around, it's going to be a great show. Okay, so here we have the starter rebuilt, and I went over and picked this thing up last week, Bars Electric. I'll put that card back up there again for you people local. And I picked the starter up and I'm like, oh, thanks, 55 bucks in and out the door, no problem. And I got it home and I was sitting in the house and I thought, I just grabbed that starter. Did I get these? Did I drop these when I was getting it? I was not paying attention. So I come out and looked, and they even put nuts on the end so these don't fall out. These are your mounting screws. And they redid all the hardware on it and they painted it. And it looks fantastic. They didn't paint over the label. He tested it for me, and everything, it spun right up. It spins nice and easy now. He said it really didn't even need to be rebuilt, that it should have worked. But I think with that crazy ground problem we found, that was probably the problem. So let's get this sucker in. So preparing for the video here. The tray's on right now because I just slapped it up there to get it out of the way and maybe figure out some wiring. But we did figure out that this is the correct ground cable, all right? And we're going to frame ground that. And our hot comes over from our solenoid right here. So there's our big thick hot wire that was kind of backwards. And then I didn't get a 1/4-20 helicoil yet. So the carburetor is going to have to wait. And I got to get other bikes up on this table. So it's going to be a short reassemble here and see what that starter does. And we'll call it good. This is a project bike, so it's a project, It's not going to be all done at once. It's going to be done as I feel like I want to do it. And there's our list. And we'll be able to scratch a few things off there. While I was rummaging, I found a brand new oil filter. Thanks, Coop, for having the extra oil filter. That's the oil filter that goes in these. And it goes right here under this cap. So you take the cap off, you take the canister out, you put the new one in. It's paper on the inside, old school. So eventually we're going to change the oil, and I'll have a fresh oil filter for that. Something interesting before we get into the video. I had my mentor, Fred, come up and take a look at this bike for me, and he, of course, knows everything about shovels, and he's letting me know this and that, and little stuff here, like this tab right here was supposed to be bent over so your axle nut doesn't come off. And as he's looking at this, he says, why is that seat, or why is that fender so far back from the frame right here, right? And I got to thinking he was right, because on, like, my Sportster, all this, your breakers and everything are, like, right here. They're jammed up in there, and they're down in. He said, your fender's mounted in the wrong spot. And he got to looking and then got to tweaking around the swing arm. And we come to find out that right behind the shock mount, I don't know if you can see that on the camera real well, but there's like it thins out right here. And then if you go back here and you feel right there, somebody added about 3 inches to each side of the swing arm. And so then the question was, why? So we're just going to roll with it. I'm a big, tall guy, so this will fit me nicely, and I don't have to mess around with the swing arm. Okay, let's get into it. So we're here at the bike, and I got Bob recording for me today. Say hi, Bob.
Hi.
And we're going to zip through this. I got everything prepped, and we're going to kind of put it together here rather quickly, I hope, and see how we do. So I greased the starter already. Here's our posts. They're good. Whew, see what I mean about them falling out? And so let's go ahead and get this guy in here. We're going to orient the screw holes and make sure our electrical stud is on the other side. Let's just get him in there. And then there it goes. I think it only kind of goes in one way. But the screws are not aligning here, I don't think. Or are they? Yep, they are. Okay. We're in business. Get this bottom one started. Tighten her down, give her a good twist there. You don't have to Hercules it, because the last thing you want to do is strip out that hole. Then you're tearing the inner primary off and the starter and all that fun stuff. There we go, nice and snug. All right, that's the terminal. Let's go ahead and get our wire on. Now, how do I want to do this? Orient this here. Okay, I need to get a pair of pliers real quick. I'm going to bend this terminal so it fits on there a little bit better, because I don't want to run it around the shifter arm here. This is all stuff for when we do the positive. So we'll tuck him out of the way. All right, so I want to see here. I really don't want to do that. This wire might be a little too long. So after a little finagling, and I had to black tape this wire up a little bit, we'll get it replaced one of these days. We're going to go down and over the shifter arm, over the clutch arm, and just put it right there. Lock washer on there. Yeah, I think that's good, Bob. Yeah, that'll work, because this goes this way anyway, I believe. Get the hand. Nope, it's 7/16, so I was right the first time. All right, now we're cooking. That looks okay to me for now. And then that's going to bend down anyway when we go to put the tray on, which is the next part. So that's wired in. You know what we can do there, Bob, is just come out, bring him out a little bit. And then it's clear the clutch mechanism, and it should clear the battery tray. Leave that a little loose for now. So, battery tray. Okay. So this is the image I showed you. This is a new one. The old one is a picture of a new one, and the one that was, this is burnt. This is nice soft rubber because it's a dampener. And somebody had to put a ground or a hot wire on one side of this, and it just cooked that thing. So let's get all our stuff out of the way. New ground cable. There we go. Let's see how this is going to fit. All right, let's see. And I got to get it behind my washers. Like I said, a lot of this is trial and error because this is a new project to me. I'm going to have to come out a little bit more with that wire because that rubber dampener is hitting it. There we go. You got to find that happy sweet spot. So it's not rubbing, it's not touching, and even if it does touch that rubber, that's okay. Oh, and I have to correct myself from my last video. This is, these are not bad. They're made that way, so they are a little flexible, so you can get into stuff like that, which I'm going to need a short barrel for that one. Well, let's get this guy at least tightened up. Lift the oil tank up, so okay. Let me see, short, I think it's 7/16, yep. So here comes the fun part. So we have to get this in, we have to hold the oil tank up to where it's supposed to be and get these bolts in here. All right, I like that. Yeah, and then when we put the brace on underneath here, that'll lift the whole thing up into place. So let's get this other guy tightened down here. No, this isn't 2x speed. I'm actually this fast. How's our overhead doing? The overhead's doing pretty well. Torque him down. Torque that one down. Okay, there's our battery tray in. Oil tank's now nice and mounted. Our electrical wire is not going to cause a fire. All right, next we're ready for this is our mounting bracket. Part of it goes on the transmission, and that wire's in the way again. You know what? I think we're going to have to come down underneath and make that turn, because it's got to be out of the way of the bracket. There we go. The nut anyway. Yeah, I believe that's even much better, because now let's see. Is the bracket going to hit it? It's going to be a tight little fit in there. That's for darn sure. Now, what did I just do that's not fitting now? I'm not hitting the wire. This just isn't lined up. I may have to unloosen those two and just let them kind of get into place there. I broke kind of the golden rule of wrenching here as I tightened shit up before it was actually in place where we want it. So, yeah, now that's much better. Let's get now I'm starting to understand why people had something tied to that rubber mount there. All right, what we don't want to do is put it on anything that it's going to rub through. Not that we're putting 1,000 miles a day on this bike, mind you. All right, is that, I think I said that was a 7/16, right? Let's use a deep well. Get a little extra reach. The only way it goes on, and it's gonna hit that wire again. let's pause this and take a break, and we'll figure this out. And I think I need to bend that lug a little bit. So I'm going to have to pull the whole wire off. We'll be right back. Okay, so we had to reroute it a couple times. It wasn't going to work on this right side because of the bracket for the battery tray and the shifter lever. It was just too much to kind of cram in there. So we ran it under the oil tank and just turned the starter over and put the lug in the back. And that seems to be okay. It'll hold for now. I'm going to get a new cable because that other side, it's breaking out of the sheath and it'll need taped. And you don't want to really leave that stuff like that. So we're going to do this. Let's go back and get this guy. Now I can tighten him down a little. Tight and tighter. Okay. Battery tray's in. Is that guy tightened down? Yeah, that guy's torqued. Now we can get under here. Everybody should sort of play nice. All right, so the starter's good, but this damn battery bracket burned again. You know, they don't have to be right flush up against there, you know, as long as everything fits properly. Is that loose? There we go. That's better. Now let's see how everybody likes to play. That'll do. So that rubber piece, it's flexible for a reason. This guy back here, he's not going to do anything, so we're safe to, you know, put some pressure on him, bolt him down. We have to get that one on the starter bracket, and no, everything's a fine thread. Ah, I got it. Never mind. I'll use the nut that the mechanic gave me because I don't know where the other little ones went that were on this initially. Okay, come on. I'm a little ambidextrous, but I am not left-handed. Got lock washers on them. They're good. That's tight. Now we can get up here and finally give these guys their last tighten down. All right. So, good. Tray's in. Now it's time to slap our battery in. I got the screws for it. Ready to go. We moved the ground wire. So the ground, this up here is your starter relay. And I didn't really have any other place to mount it that had the same size hole. So it has to be grounded. But this hole is actually for the ground cable. All right, so it all goes right here. It's all nice. And it's grounded. I hit it with the meter. It has continuity to the frame. So frame ground, ready for the battery, which is a bit tricky because you got to put all this hot stuff on at the same time. Get this guy here. I'll set him there. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this and this and this. I'm trying not to hit the frame. Okay, so now we got battery to the starter solenoid, we got battery to the regulator, and we got battery to the rest of the circuit. Okay. Now where's our brand new ground setup? It's not brand new ground. And then just like the other one, I'm gonna put all the stuff through the terminal. This has got like a little half moon on it, so it has to sit, it spaces the battery out. Oh, this new cable's a little stiff. Sometimes it helps to have a little dexterity and a little luck. Nope, that's not even close to being started. All right, so we got the battery in. I loosened something up here on that ground just so that cable would move around a little bit. So we tighten our ground down. You always want a good ground. Okay. Positive's up. Ground's connected down here underneath. Shouldn't hit anything. Let's feed that into the tray and pop. I am going to want that turned. Oop, there's a little spark. I do want that turned just a little bit. There we go. There we are. Okay, so that's looking pretty. Get our battery cover in. Okay. There we go. That's what I like to see. All right, and then I cover. That's a bit sketchy. But that's what the manual says. Ah, you dirty dog. This is tricky because you got to hold the brace down and get the washer on and then get the nut on without dropping the washer. There we are. Of course, it's not going to stop, and you don't want to over tension it. Right? There's a rubber mounted oil tank, rubber mounted battery. Everybody's out of the way. Nobody's rubbing on anything. I think we're in pretty good business here. Let me see. I got all the nuts down. Yep. Okay. Ground wires on, hot wires on. All right. I don't have the IV bottle up here, but at least we can see if it'll turn over with the rebuilt starter. And we'll see what it does. Let me just get some stuff out of the way. Big puff of smoke. Maybe it'll just click and not like us anymore. Or maybe it'll work the way it's supposed to. So 3, 2, 1, contact. We have headlight. We're on run. And nothing there. Okay.
You lose!
We have things like turn signals? No. Okay. We're missing something here. Let's see. That's your ground. Unless there's something wrong with that ground wire. And that's negative, that's positive. I didn't hook anything up backwards. Let me just get something here real quick. Like I said, I think I still had a trouble in the handlebar. Oh, did they? Okay. Yeah, we got a bad short somewhere. Yep, we got a short. Let me turn that off. All right, well, our initial try is not working. And I'm not sure where we're at here. Oh, that's damn close. That's damn close. I don't like that at all. That's metric. It's close to touching that terminal. So I think, like I mentioned in the first video, I don't like that hot wire either, is I think we might have a short up here or up there. Key is the worst. All right, we got headlight. No turn signal, right? And no start. All right, well, give me a little bit and we'll do some troubleshooting. We'll be back with you. Hang in there. Okay, so we had some major problems to the point where I even got the fire extinguisher out. We put the battery in, we connected everything up, we turned the key on. I think we had a short up here, we had a pinched wire, right, Bob? Yep. Pinched wire or two up here that I'll have to address. And we tried to start it and the solenoid clicked, and then we got the most ungodly rotten egg smell. I've never smelled anything like it in all my years of wrenching. So I believe that battery's shot, and we took the battery out, and it's hot on that first cell on the ground side. So it either doesn't like our ground cable, or the battery's just bad itself. So I'm going to replace the battery, and in the meantime, while we're down and while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and get a new positive to the starter wire and a new ground wire, because these are a little sketchy and they're 45 years old. So we're going to wrap this up for now, folks. Sorry I couldn't promise on what we were hoping to do, but it was a kind of a shot in the dark anyway. Stay tuned and keep liking and subscribing and sharing with your friends. Throw me a couple comments in there if you think what's going on here. I kind of figure what it is. Everything else looks good. We didn't melt anything. It didn't really trip any breakers. We had turn signals and headlights and the horn and all that stuff. So I'm going to get a new battery. We're going to get new cables, and we'll be back with you as soon as we can. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.